Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Vivek Ramaswamy, and I want to talk about 2024 Dune Part 2, Denis Villeneuve's Dune, Timothee Chalamet's Dune, Zendaya's Dune. There are zero spoilers for Dune in this content. And I want to talk about a political problem we have that is perfectly illustrated by the new Dune 2. So first of all, I just wanted to share my experience. I saw Dune 2 a week before anybody else was able to. And I love movies, and I saw Dune 1 on IMAX in early January, and at the very, very end of that, the studio that makes Dune put a QR code, and it was really nice. And they put the QR code there, and they said, hey, you got, you can, and so I shot the QR code, gave them all my information, and then like a couple weeks later, they were like, hey, you want to see Dune 2 super early on IMAX? And I was like, bet. I was like, yeah, I definitely want that, right? And so I got to see it a week before anybody else on IMAX. By the way, 5 out of 5 star film. It's absolutely spectacular. I highly recommend that you go. And I think everybody listening to this channel is going to go or see the film at some point. And the reason why is I only have only intellectuals listen to this channel. Like this isn't a fun channel, really. I totally understand. It's not fun to listen to my content, right? It certainly shouldn't be fun because I don't do anything to make it fun, right? I'm very interested in learning and growing and changing and transforming my life and improving, right? And so I have made my life to the point where I frequently have fun because two things I care about spark off and fun happens. I think the best way to have fun is to never pursue it. I know that's super unique, but so I went to this film for a lot of reasons, and I absolutely loved it. The film was phenomenal, but something happened in it that I have to tell you about, okay? Here's what happened, okay? So I go to Dune 2. Now, I am so hyped. I'm looking forward to this thing for a week, right? I go. I'm in the front row of the IMAX theater because responding quickly, this thing sold out very, very quickly, right? But I'm in the front row of an IMAX theater. By the way, front row in an IMAX theater is still a great seat. I didn't know this. I know it now. For an IMAX theater, there isn't a bad seat in the house. I had a blast. I really enjoyed the film, right? So I'm watching this thing, and I love it, and I'm loving every minute. The movie brought me to tears more than once. It was, and it got me very excited, and took me through an emotional journey. The movie is absolutely phenomenal, right? There's a young person next to me. He was brought by his father or his grandfather. It was a little hard to tell. I think people are having kids a lot later than they used to. But it was like this, teenager. And either his dad or his granddad had gray hair, right? So this kid did not choose to be there, right? He was brought there, right? He fell asleep during the film. I couldn't believe it. I was like, holy cows, man. How could you possibly sleep through this film, right? Well, at the end of the film, I stay during the credits, right? And I take out my notebook because the movie's, functionally over, right? And there's only and the vast majority of the seats are empty at this point, and the credits are rolling. And I take out my phone and I start writing in my notebook, which I do all the time. And the guy next to me is like, "Oh, are you a film critic?" And I was like, my opinions on this movie are gonna be up tomorrow. I have a YouTube channel, but I don't cover films directly. I cover them in context to other things, right? And then so we had this really nice conversation, and he's telling me, he's like, well, I have a film channel, right? And I was really excited to hear this, and so I put a comment on his. So we stood up, and I was like, I'd love to see some of your stuff, and he's like, okay. So I just looked up his stuff on my phone, and then just commented on one of his videos, and that way we could start to communicate, right? I was really excited about this, right? And I was like, what'd you think? And he's like, well, I liked it, but I fell asleep for 10 minutes. So I'm going to need to see it again. And I was like, and I didn't react, right? Because I didn't want to upset the guy, right? But I was shocked. I was like, how could anybody sleep through even a minute of this film? It is unthinkable to me. And I know the answer. It's politics. It's all politics, right? There's some action, there's some adventure, but none of that action or adventure even makes sense if you don't know the politics. Dune is fundamentally about politics. Politics bores the masses out of their mind. They can't, like, but what astounded me, this guy got an early ticket. He's not a casual, right? And still, so both young people, and this guy was probably 25, 30, right? Both young people that were sitting next, young people cannot get through a Dune movie without falling asleep. And I think this is because of politics. People hate politics. You and I love politics. We love it so much, right? This isn't true, but it has the general shape of truth, that it's like our football, right? Actually, we react the way, but that's not correct either. It's really what we do is much broader than football. Football doesn't matter. Our stuff actually does matter. Our attention matters. Our giving our attention to politics actually makes the world better. Giving attention to football does not make the world better, right? It's not the same, right? But we have to understand, okay? First of all, there are hard truths, in my humble opinion, that people need to realize. Every 4 years, we hear the same noise. These things are never going to change in America, at least for the next 250 years, okay? We will always have an electoral college. Every 4 years, we hear this noise that somebody's going to change it. Also, we're going to get money out of politics. We're not going to get money out of politics. It's never going to, anytime you hear somebody squawking about that, and everything I'm about to say, if you hear anyone squawking about it, fool, no, listen no longer. Don't give another minute of your valuable attention, time, or focus to that fool, okay? They're never going to change the electoral college, okay? We're never going to get money out of politics. And young people are never going to care about politics, ever. They're never going to change an election or make some, like, if we can get the young people out, they don't care. They do not care, right? I don't think they care at all, right? And they certainly don't care enough to change any election. Politics is owned by the old or the super wise. There are a few young people who are super wise, but they are outrageously rare, okay? So that's the issue. And so what does this mean for us and for Vivek Ramaswamy, okay? Well, here's the thing. We need to get Vivek Ramaswamy selected as the VP, right? And so one of the things we have to realize is we can't engage people who don't care about politics. We need to hack them. We need to pull a lever that makes them vote or take a political action that is in our favor. So we cannot engage the masses. We have to hack the masses. And I have to admit, this is something that Donald Trump has done extremely well. He has not engaged the masses. He has hacked the masses. He's used, clever cultural code to hack the masses. And that's what we got to figure out that's what we got to figure out how to do to help Vivek Ramaswamy. We have no hope of engaging the masses. We need to give up on that because it's a pipe dream, okay? What we can do is we can hack the masses, and we need to start thinking about how to do that. So I'm sorry, I don't have the answer of how we hack the masses, but I think it's important to acknowledge that we need to do it. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.